Hi, I'm Ollie, a data quality analyst here at PHIN, and today I'm going to be taking you through accessing the data completeness specification and sample file, and then transferring us a data completeness file via the SFTP. The data completeness file confirms to us the number of discharges at your hospital per month. It should sit alongside the admitted patient care data that you send us and confirm that we have a complete picture of the activity at your hospital per month. It will also confirm to us if there were no discharges and therefore no data for us to receive. Here's the process. First, navigate to portal.phin.org.uk. Click on Hospitals, browse the manual, and number 5, collecting the data. This is where we store all of the specifications for our data sets. The one we are after is the data completeness spec. Scroll down until you see the data completeness subheader and then click on download data completeness specification. Once downloaded, open the spec up using Excel. Once you've opened up the specification, you'll see there are 4 tabs. The first tab is the introduction, which will outline which version of the specification you're using, the purpose of the dataset, any notes that are relevant, and the submission criteria. Like all of our files, we should receive them as CSVs via the SFTP. The next tab is the change history. This will show you any amendments that we might make. Next is the format and naming. This will give you information about the file structure and the naming convention of the files. Like all of our datasets, the file name should be comprised of the PHIN provider identifier, the dataset identifier, and then the extract date and time. And finally, the specification tab. This will outline all of the field names in the file, a description, a link to any expected values. We'll show you the mandatory fields that are needed as a bare minimum and give an example. I'm now going to go through each of the fields and explain them. The PHIN provider identifier and PHIN site identifier you'll be provided with, and these allow us to identify which provider and site the data is relevant to. The local site identifier and local site name are internal codes and names that you can use. The site tret is the site code of treatment, and these will be allocated to you by the NHS if you have one. The admin cat allows us to show which administrative category the patient discharges are for. O1 is for NHS, O2 is for private. There is a full list of codes available under the expected values. The period of discharge will show us which month the discharges are for. This must be the first of the month, and the date must be in year-month-day. The number of discharges for that month, and this is an aggregate of the discharges. The deleted flag. If this field is populated with a 1, that will remove any records based on PHIN provider identifier, PHIN site identifier, the period of discharge, and the administrative category. The test submission flag. If this is populated with a 1, these records will not go to live. And then finally, the version. This is the version of the specification that you're using. Going back to the portal, I'm now going to show you where you can access a sample file to see what the data should look like. If you click back on manual, and this time number 6, how to submit the data. Here are all of the sample files that we've created. The one we're after is the data completeness sample file. Click to download it. Once you've downloaded and opened the sample file, you'll be able to see that each of those field names are along the top row.
The PHIN provider ID is in column A, and the PHIN site ID is in column B. So this would be a data completeness file for PHIN PHI0ID, PHIN PHI2ID. The admin cat is in column F, so this would show that the top site is submitting data completeness for the NHS because of the admin cat 1, and the bottom one for private because of admin cat 2. These are both discharges for March 2016. The top site is submitting 100 discharges and the bottom 50. Once you've confirmed that this is the data you want to submit, ensure that you save it with the correct file name as outlined in the Format and Naming tab. Once you've saved your file correctly, connect to our server using your SFTP client of choice. I'm using FileZilla. When you've connected, navigate to where you've stored the file and simply drag and drop to the right hand side to transfer us the file. Once you've done that, the transfer should be successful and we'll process the file shortly.
I've now taken you through accessing the specification and sample file and sending us a data completeness file. If you have any questions, please contact dataquality@phin.org.uk. Thanks for listening.